Hey man, I feel like we just fixed the Clippers. Like I think we could just kind of wipe our hands.
Oh God, bro.
I mean, they need to put us on the staff, on the coaching staff.
Welcome to the War in the Paint podcast. I want to first thank all of you for joining us, whether that's on YouTube or Spotify. Don't forget to follow War in the Paint on social media. We're on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Spotify, and a number of other podcasting platforms too, man. Shout out RSS.com for getting us populated out there. If you're listening on Spotify or any other podcasting platform, be sure to leave a 5-star review. That's the easiest way to increase our visibility on the platform and for the Roar to reach as many people as possible. And you can like and subscribe on YouTube. I've been waiting to say that for about 3 weeks now. So yeah, go to Already DTX YouTube, like and subscribe. You know what I'm saying? If that's how you listen to your podcast, then we up there too. My name is Rodney Blue, and I'm joined by my esteemed cohorts and fellow basketball enthusiasts. And we're here to bring you commentary, insight, and amateur expertise on each of the National Basketball Association's 30 teams in every one of their 82 games. Fellas, let's go ahead and get ourselves introduced and tell people a little bit about you.
Yeah, man. This is Gabe, man, the resident lover boy, poet, educator, and Boston Celtics super fan here.
Yo, this is Aaron, aka Teflon, music lover, basketball lover, and the resident Mavs fan here.
It's Nojo. I'm the resident Lakers fan, and I'm just here to talk shit.
Hey, what it do, man? It's Ricky Blue. And I dropped the hardest album of the year, Hues of Blue. I did not get a Grammy nomination.
It's coming. It's coming.
On the way.
And again, I'm Rodney Blue, man, our dad, a writer, a basketball junkie. And yeah, I love this game, man. I guess I'm the resident Pelicans fan, perpetually disappointed and let down by the alleged best duo in the league. But yeah, man, the premise of this show, again, thank you for tapping into the War in the Paint podcast. The premise of this show is a weekly basketball conversation that, as I stated earlier, covers each of the 30 teams in every one of their 82 games. Each of the show's hosts have been assigned 6 teams, 3 in the Western Conference and 3 in the East. And every Sunday of the NBA season, we get together to discuss our team's performance throughout the previous week. Team Blue consists of, in the West, the Denver Nuggets, the Minnesota Timberwolves, and the New Orleans Pelicans. And in the East, I've got the Brooklyn Nets, the Charlotte Hornets, and the Indiana Pacers.
Yeah, man. So my team, starting in the East, I got the Boston Celtics, the Miami Heat, the Toronto Raptors. Moving over to the West, I got the Grizzlies, the Suns, and the Jazz.
And for me, out West, I have the Mavericks, OKC Thunder, and the Sacramento Kings. And out East, I have the Cleveland Cavaliers, Detroit Pistons, and Orlando Magic.
For me, on the East, I have the Atlanta Hawks, the New York Knicks, and the Philadelphia 76ers. And then on the West, I have the Houston Rockets, the LA Lakers, and the San Antonio Spurs.
Yes, Thursday. Okay. On the East, I have. I'm sorry, I should know this by heart right now. On the East, I got the Blaze. Oh no. East, I got the Bulls, the Bucks, and the Wizards. And on the West, I got the Warriors, the Clippers, and the
The Blazers.
Blazers.
The fucking Portland Trailblazers.
Yeah, man.
The purpose of this, man, is not only to share our obsession with hoops with like-minded fanatics, but to give equal time and attention to some of the franchises and players who are not always fairly or equally covered by the mainstream sports media, if even at all. It's our hope that we can provide a fair amount of coverage for those underrepresented markets, create a credible access point for new and lifelong fans of the sport, and most importantly, just enjoy ourselves talking about the game we love, always learning from and growing with it. So without further ado, let's go to war, gentlemen. Week 3 of the 2023-2024 NBA season came and went, and here we are, fellas. Man, week 3. Glad y'all are here. I'm super glad we're figuring this formula out, man, for everyone still tapped in and listening to us. We appreciate y'all being here. And yeah, let's I mean, there's some big stories that we probably will get to at some point during the conversation, but should we just go ahead and jump into how each team did this week?
Yeah, man, let's get it.
Fantastic. All right, we're gonna start off with Nojo and the Atlanta Hawks. How did the Hawks do this week, Nojo? The shot clock is on.
The Hawks went 1-1. It's not too bad. They lost to the Thunder and they beat the Magic. Yeah, I mean they're cool. Trae Young is actually playing a little better. I remember last week y'all was talking about this Okongwu guy, and he's looking okay. You know what I mean? He ain't really too crazy. And but yeah, I think they're getting better. I talked about how ass they were the first week, but they're getting a lot better. Trae Young is starting to look more like Trae Young, and then I think Murray is a good, like, I feel like he can, if Trae Young's not closing, I think Murray is a good closer. And Trae Young had 41 against the Magic, and yeah, man, it's pretty cool, pretty okay week. I think they're doing a lot better though.
Yeah, very dope, man. The Atlanta Hawks are like third in pace, so they running and gunning. They scoring 116 points per game. Like, you know, they're doing what it takes to win their style. And I think they were on like a 4-game win streak at one point. So, they're definitely catching fire. And I guess it's just about really just kind of seeing all those parts come together. Like you said, DeJounte Murray is a great second option. Trae Young is getting in the rhythm, and yeah, they somebody to definitely watch out for, especially as they can get hot. All right, up next we got the Boston Celtics. Gabe, how your Celtics doing this week?
Yeah, man. Celtics had a okay week, man. We went 2-2. Lost our first 2 games of the season, so that puts us at 7-2 overall. We lost back-to-back games versus the Wolves and the Sixers. We'll talk more about that Sixers game a little bit later, but I mean the team's looking solid. They can't win every game, unfortunately, so they were due for a dud here and there. But so far, man, the biggest impression is the offense looks smooth. The defense still needs some work, but it's the NBA, so defense isn't as important as it used to be. And as always, man, it's Tatum for MVP around here, man. Dude is averaging 28 and 9 on 52% from the field, 39% from three, shooting 8 threes a game. So you would think with the addition of Porzingis and Drew Holiday that his production would go down, but he is actually playing just as good as he was last year. Numbers are slightly down, but in terms of quality, it's the same, man. Dude's going to win MVP. He's the best player on the best team. So go Celtics.
Right on, man. And they're also up there in the 3-point shooting as well. They average about 15, 16 3-points made a game. And average the most 3-point shots per game. How does a 3-ball looking for the Celtics?
I mean, all 5 guys in the starting lineup, and really the first 6 guys, including Horford when he comes off the bench, all 5 of them can hit it from 3 anytime. They start Holiday at the 1, they put Derek White at the 2, then they go Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and they round it out with Porzingis playing 5, and then they got Horford off the bench. So, and they got what is his name? Hauser. Dude is a sniper too. So yeah, 3-point game is lethal there.
Sick, man. Well, yeah. The Boston Celtics continue to be the among the top teams in the league, and so it's just business as usual for Boston, man. Doing great things, MVP caliber things from Jason Tatum, and a great team to complement their stars and and all their capable players on there. So if you got the Celtics coming up, just be ready for some elite basketball being played. All right, up next we got the Brooklyn Nets. My Brooklyn Nets went 1-2 this week. They had a couple losses, one against the Bucks and the other against the Celtics. But I don't know. I really don't want to too much talk about the losses. I think that when in rhythm, Brooklyn's strength is that they're a team full of hoopers, man. Like they have like some really, I mean, literally from 1 through 10 to 12, there's some real dogs on there, man. Cam Thomas averaged about 30 points per game this week. He's shooting 33% from 3. He's still struggling with like kind of streaky 3-point shooting. But he's shooting close to 50% from the field goal and is currently the number one option and is provided sort of a really strong most improved candidate, man. He was doing incredible things all up until he went down during the Clippers game. And so he sat the Celtics game. But yeah, those two games against the Bucks and the Clippers, man, he really kind of showed out. Mikal Bridges, again, week 3 averages. He's doing about 17 points per game. He's shooting 20% from 3, which is very uncharacteristic from him. And he's kind of having up and down games, man. He's capable of dominating offensively, but he rebounds and play makes decently, but we're still waiting on some consistent scoring from them. He had one big game this week against Milwaukee. In that loss, he dropped 30 points. So, Ben Simmons makes great basketball decisions. I mean, you can see it as he's playing. I think like we're learning what his game is. And then, yeah, just down the line, like the Brooklyn Nets have a list of contributors that really play hard-nosed, offensively oriented, but also, two ways in a lot of ways with Dorian Finney-Smith and Royce O'Neal. Lonnie Walker can have some really big games every now and then. So I like the way the Brooklyn Nets are looking. Although they went 1-2 this week, they've climbed back up to 4-5 as of Saturday. So I'm really excited to kind of see them get it all together, especially once they get some health back in there. Ben Simmons is currently out. Cam Thomas is currently out. Nick Claxton is currently out. So they'll have some offensive options and a defensive anchor once everyone is back at full strength. Up next, we have the Charlotte Hornets. Again, that is a team blue team. The Charlotte Hornets went 1-2 this week, increasing their record to 3-5. They had one win this week. That one win was the second of essentially a back-to-back or doubleheader against the Washington Wizards, man. The Charlotte Hornets, are a solid team. The Charlotte Hornets are a solid offensive team. They're 7th in the league in pace, and they can easily outscore 22 other teams in the NBA because they're 8th in points per game, right? But in order to stop the bleeding, they have to play better and smarter defense. They are the 3rd most in fouls per game of all teams. They're sending opponents to the free throw line with boneheaded fouls, and they're not getting stops. And so you can score as many points as you want, but if you're not getting stops and you're giving the opponents free points, that's a recipe for disaster. So they're not winning games. As stated in week 2, the Hornets' success will be determined by Mark Williams' success. He had 15 offensive rebounds, 20 some odd points in the win against the Washington Wizards. And I love the fact that they went and got their lick back against the Wizards. They had the Wizards earlier that week on Wednesday, and then they had a in-season tournament game, a group play game against the Wizards. And they tightened the screws on the things that let that victory slip away in that first loss to the Wizards, and they came back and got their lick back. So I'm paying attention to that. I'm paying close attention to PJ Washington, who they really, in my opinion, need to move off of, but I don't know what his trade value is like. But if Gordon Hayward, LaMelo Ball, Mark Williams, and everyone is in rhythm and they can potentially get some stops, they could be a play-in caliber team on the in the Eastern Conference. So we'll see what happens next with the Charlotte Hornets. Up next, we've got the Chicago Bulls. That's Team Ricky Blue. Ricky, how the Chicago Bulls doing this week?
Yo, funny side story. I'm actually putting out a fire right now. But yeah, the Bulls went 1-1 this week. They got dubbed by the Nuggets only to come back, snap that 3-game losing streak, and beat the Jazz by 27. Y'all say the Bulls suck, but the Suns only won by 1. And Alex Caruso is out here being compared to Ray Lewis.
So is it you putting out the fire, or is it the Bulls putting out the fire?
Oh man, look, hey man, hey, good, you know what I'm saying, good flip on that. But I'm actually with a fucking fire extinguisher.
Ricky Blue, part-time volunteer firefighter, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, man.
Out to the Bulls, man. They can stop the bleeding. And actually, the Bulls are actually like at the top of the league of turnovers. They don't have very many turnovers. So really, it's just a matter of like, are they going to start playing some team basketball? Because, there's no reason you should be at the bottom of the league, but also like at the top of the turnovers list, as in like not making as many turnovers per game as any other team. If I'm not mistaken, they're at the top of that list with the least amount of turnovers per game. So I think that's impressive, and I think that shows like a lot of room for improvement. But yeah, they only average about 12 turnovers a game, and
Definitely. And then also I think that Zach is finally finding his rhythm. It's no longer, it's not looking like DeRozan is the only dog.
right.
They're damn near 1 point away in their points per game. You know what I'm saying? So they getting some shots up, man. I'm patient with them though.
Shout out to the Bulls, man. It's something there. It's definitely something there. All right, who we got next? Next is the Cleveland Cavaliers. Teflon.
How'd I do on my shot clock? You good?
We doing good. Teflon, how are your Cleveland bad built Cavaliers doing this week?
Went 2-1 this week, lost to the Thunder, and then beat the Warriors twice this week. Donovan's still doing Donovan things, shooting crazy. Garland's slowly catching up, getting in rhythm after his injury early in the season. And Karis LeVert's been a big surprise. He's averaging almost 19 points a game off the bench. Just been real solid for them. Defense starting to kick up. Offense is no longer near the bottom of the league now. It's in the upper 20s, so they're slowly improving.
Harris just had a big game against the Warriors, didn't he?
Who?
Karis LeVert. He had 22 points against the Warriors.
Yeah, he's been balling this week.
And he's providing some solid defense. 4 steals and a block, man. I mean, that's great to see because that he was talked about like a trading piece for a long time, especially in the last couple of years.
Yeah, he's definitely the offensive punch they've been looking for this season so far. Because outside of LeVert, Niang's been all right. Wade's been serviceable. He's getting boards, but yeah, LeVert coming off the bench.
Who's the nigga with the little braids?
Strus?
Nah, the little braids. Isaiah.
You talking about Okoro?
Oh yeah,
Okoro,
he's been out.
Okay. Because he was looking like, okay, this is the best they got past the first 5, right? Like this is the first guy off the bench. And like, yeah, he's 3-and-D and he's gotten, reasonably better, but I never felt like he had the offensive firepower to be the first guy off the bench.
Yeah, he's a very streaky shooter. Like he's a spot up guy, but he'll give you three pointers one game and then go 0 for 5 the next game.
Right.
Hopefully they can get him back soon.
Yeah.
And work him back in rotation.
Yeah, I like him and LeVert as the potential 6 and 7 off the bench as opposed to just having Okoro, stagger with the main guy's minutes. All right, up next, Steph, we also have the Mavericks. How are your Mavericks doing this week?
They are 3-1 this week with a very trash loss to the Raptors, but they got the job done this week. Beat the Clippers, absolutely destroyed them. The offense has been absolutely on fire. Kyrie's finally getting in rhythm. And currently the number 1 shooting team in the league, or 3-point wise, 40% on 42 threes a game. I think the next 2 teams below us is your Pacers and Gabe's Celtics.
Yeah,
it's been a solid week for the Mavs. Hopefully they can continue and start playing a little bit better, D, because their first half and second half stats are Jekyll and Hyde. It's complete backwards.
I'll tell you what, Derek Lively II is doing his job.
Yeah, and for only being 19 years old, he's the biggest impact. This is exactly what this team's been missing.
It's crazy. He big bro'd a couple centers, a couple NBA guys this week.
Like when he was sick earlier in the week, the team looked like last year's team when we had Christian Wood.
Yeah.
Nobody could rebound. It was easy points in the paint. I think the Raptors put up 77 points in the paint that game. It was like a team record. So yeah, as long as he's healthy, he's out there. This team is really nice, and hopefully they can win games and get Luka in the MVP conversation again.
Very dope, very dope. Kai's looking good too. Good to see those guys in rhythm. All right, up next we have the Denver Nuggets. That's Team Blue. The Denver Nuggets went 2-0 this week. They had a short week after a 5-game week 2. They beat my Pelicans, which was very painful to watch. And they also beat they beat the Warriors in a nail biter that came down to the last shot where Klay Thompson basically just let the ball fall off his wrist. Nigga. I don't know how that happened. That I never see somebody airball a finger roll before, but you know. Welcome to the NBA, baby. Joker is still unstoppable as both a scorer and a facilitator. These are champions doing championship things, right? The role players are proven to be valuable acquisitions. Reggie Jackson Jr. has stepped up in the absence of Jamal Murray, who's going to be out for the remainder of the month. Christian Brown is contributing in a multitude of ways the way he did during their championship run. They got a couple cats. KCP is doing his job. Gillespie is doing, showing great promise. Strother hit the Pelicans for like 7 fucking 3-pointers. This cat, I don't know. I don't know. He wasn't on my draft board, so I couldn't even tell you what the scout is on him, but he is looking like a very, very valuable piece to this Denver Nuggets team, man. Adding some incredible shooting. Michael Porter Jr. has been playing really way more aggressive than he has in the past. Not only is he, getting back in shooting rhythm, but he's slashing to the cup, man, and getting some really big dunks. And yeah, man, the Nuggets just run great plays. They have great movement on and off the ball, and they tend to find the right pass and the right shot, man. The intangibles are stepping up in the absence of Murray. And yeah, man, I mean, they're up to 8-1. So, championship team doing championship things, man. You love to see it. And hopefully they can keep it up and, stay at the top of the West, top of the league. Teflon, we got the Detroit Pistons next. How they doing this week?
Fortunately, they went 0-4, but when you play the Phoenix Suns, Warriors, Bucks, and 76ers all in a row, as a young team that's oldest person on the lineup is 22, you're not expected to win these games.
That's just
They had a
set up.
Yeah, it was whoever put the schedule for them is they're like, go ahead and get this first round pick.
Right.
But they had a lost a nail biter to the Bucks earlier in the week on Wednesday. A game where shout out Marcus Sasser had a career game, put up 26 points off the bench with 6 rebounds and 2 assists and a steal. And also shout out Killian Hayes, who's having a career. He's shooting better this year at 40%, which is 20% better than he did last year. 3 balls up. He's averaging a solid point better than last year, but he's looking good for them. He's looking good Killian Hayes renaissance. He's not looking like the bust most of you thought he was, but
now whose minutes is he taking away? I know Monty Williams just had a quote. He's taking away whose minutes?
Jaden Ivey's been hurt.
Okay.
So but Killian's been starting the whole season. Marcus Sasser is the one that's stepped in for Jaden Ivey being out.
Okay. Yeah. I know that there's a lot of talk, especially in like NBA social media circles, about where Jaden Ivey should be, and this could lead some to disgruntlement on his part because he's still backing up Killian Hayes. And I don't know, man. If he's a tradable piece, I know a couple teams that could use him.
Yeah, Pelicans do need a point guard. He just he doesn't fit the lineup. He's a lot of offense, not the best defender, and Monty Williams wants defenders out there. That's why he has Hayes, Asar, and just long players who can all defend and switch. So hopefully he gets back.
Veteran coaches and young teams are a great combination, especially when you need them to step up in ways that they haven't been able to in the past, right? I think the Rockets are a good example of that too.
Yeah, but hopefully, when Ivy gets back in the flow and can show that he's still worth. He's picked what, second?
Yeah.
That year. Yeah, still worth that second overall pick. But yeah, 0-4 this week for the Pistons. And that's about it.
Business as usual in Detroit. Rick, we got the Golden State Warriors. How they do this week?
Man, the Warriors did all right. You know what I'm saying? They were 2-3 this week. I thought something that was really interesting. Draymond leads the league in text amongst all active players. But this last time he just got ejected in this last game, it seemed a lot more political than it did anything else, man. The refs instituted this rule where they went back 2 or 3 plays and retroactively called this nigga a tech and got him kicked out the game.
That nigga back pay.
I'm looking forward to how the league addresses that going forward. I think there should be somewhat of a, amount of time, and like call it a challenge on a play in football. There should only be a certain amount of time where refs can go back and retroactively call techs and things like that. And Kerr brought up an interesting point. It was like, yeah, it's a whole bunch of plays about 3 years ago I want to go back and look at. So, they can't pick and choose when and when not. You know what I'm saying? What else? Yeah, you know, it's just Clipper. It's just Golden State business, man. You know.
Town business. They took an L to the Nuggets. Did you see that? Did you see that Klay Thompson finger roll to try and win the game? They let it slip off his wrist and airball.
Yes, I did see that. I did see that.
Yeah.
So what do you think? He should have just floated that thing?
You know, Klay Thompson ain't the greatest decision maker in the world. We are learning. I think he had another.
Like it chose the shot to keep the ball in your hand the longest of all shots.
Yeah,
That's that Patrick Ewing.
that's tough.
His knees are Patrick Ewing.
Look at you.
Yeah, man. I don't know. The people I follow and and the experts I've listened to have said that he might be suffering from somewhat of a basketball identity crisis. You know what I mean? He's been reduced to, which isn't a terrible thing. One of the best catch and shoot players of all time. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what he's great at. But he's starting to like put the ball on the floor a little bit more excessively. To the dismay and of his team and and not really benefiting the offense and and you have a situation like that where you gotta breakaway layup to tie the game or was it to tie the game? It might not have been a tie game. They might have still lost. But at the same time, like to watch that finger roll come off your wrist and just like hit nothing, it's just kind of crazy.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, man, good old Warriors. We ain't worried about it.
They don't look that bad, and right now they're actually playing the Timberwolves, and Rudy Gobert just threw Draymond shit into the third row. So I don't know, man. I'm gonna stay tuned, see how they look this week, and but yeah, I'm not worried about the fucking Golden State Warriors, bro. It's the Warriors, bro.
It's the Warriors, right on. No, Joe, we got the Houston Rockets up next. How they doing?
Hey man, these young niggas is hooping. We just went 3-0 with a win over the Kings, the Lakers, and the Pelicans. And yeah, man, these niggas look really, really good. I think Dillon Brooks and Van Vliet were actually I said Van Vliet was a good addition, but Dillon Brooks wasn't. But no, this nigga's doing his job for sure. And yeah, it's a great. Each game is a great team effort. Like it was probably one game where one nigga was just going super crazy, but it's usually always like everybody is. It's like 4 or 5 players in double digits each game, and yeah, man, they look really good. And then also they went 3-0 this week, but I just peeped at the game today, and then they beat the Denver Nuggets today, so they look really, really, really good, really solid.
They gave the Nuggets a L?
Yes.
Oh man,
107-104.
Tune in next week for the assessment on that, man. That's crazy. The Rockets? Hey, man, but you know what? You said they went 3-0 this week, so now that's 4-0?
Yeah.
And I think they had a win at the end of last week, too. So that might be a 5-0 winning streak for the Rockets currently. That's
crazy,
man. It's starting to come together. I mean, Van Vliet is an excellent, veteran point guard that they very much needed to kind of corral the young players. Dillon Brooks is providing defensive intensity, even if he, find himself in foul trouble, you know what I'm saying? Second, third quarter type shit. Like, you can tell that the intensity is contagious and the mentality, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just an effort to show on that side of the ball. I think Tari Eason is a pretty decent defender too. Like, they got some pieces, bro.
Yeah, definitely.
So shout out to the Red Hot Houston Rockets, beat my Pelicans. Up next, we have my Indiana Pacers, who went 3-0 this week, man. Pacers are number 1 in points per game. They're scoring 126 points per game. They're number 2 in field goal percentage, shooting 50% per game. I think the only higher percentage team is the Nuggets, and they're shooting like 51, 52. They're top 3 in 3 points made, number 2 in 3-point percentage, and number 2 in pace behind the Washington Wizards. So what you're dealing with is a team that's fast, that's pushing the ball up the court faster than anybody else not named Jordan Poole and Kyle Kuzma, and they're making their shots. They're shooting a bucket load of fucking threes. They hitting them motherfuckers, and they run up the scoreboards, man. They played the Spurs this week. beat them 152 to 111. You know what I'm saying? Which is like, crazy that those are two NBA scores, nigga. But yeah, 152 points is fucking nuts. They beat the Jazz 134 to 118. And then they had a very close nail biter against the Dameless Bucks, 124 to 126 to win that game, man. They're getting excellent production out of all their rotation players, whether they running a 9 or a 15-man rotation, which Eric Carlisle has done in back-to-back games. He had all 15 players play one game, had just 9 players play the other game, and everybody still contributes effectively. They could stand to play a little better defense, but I mean, when you can drop 126 points on anybody's head consistently, who needs fucking defense? You know what I'm saying? I got fucking money healed. You know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah, man. They've shown themselves capable of beating good teams. Didn't say great teams, didn't say elite teams, but the Bucks without Dame is a good team, and they prove that they can win. So it'll be interesting to continue to watch the Indiana Pacers come into form, man, especially with just all the weapons that they have. Nesmith, Mathurin, of course, Halliburton, Miles Turner. They got another big man off the bench who's solid rebounder and offensive player, man. Like, they've got some really good pieces, and I'm really interested to see, if they can keep this up. The in-season tournament I think is going to be very interesting, bro. I know I say this every week, but with these hot teams scoring the way that they're scoring and hooping the way they're hooping in these early season games, I think we're going to be looking at a really entertaining in-season tournament, probably led by some people you ain't used to seeing in high stakes games. So keep an eye out for that. Rick, we got the LA Clippers up next. How your Clippers doing this week?
Man, fuck them niggas. My nigga Free P just went to the game. Shout out my nigga Free P, man. Amazing producer and amazing bet jockey, bookie, or whatever the fuck you niggas call him. But yeah, more importantly, Harden is literally a cancer to the team. Teams are better without him.
Damn, that's a complete 180 from last week. You was talking about it was system time.
Hey, look, he should probably go to the big 3, nigga, and just take that league over, because at this point, I'm not seeing it. These niggas on a 4-game losing streak. Lonnie Walker, hoe ass, came off the bench and gave these niggas 21 to grow on. Like, man, I don't know what it is, bro. It baffles me often when you see these mega teams that get put together and these niggas still can't win games, man. And yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on.
It might take longer than 4 games for them to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? James Harden ain't somebody who you just come in and and he can fit right in. Like, everything has to change now. You know what I'm saying? And that's clear. So I don't know, man.
But I'm starting to think he's not the problem, though, bro. I think it's Kawhi, bro.
I mean,
and I don't mean production-wise. He's not a good teammate. He's an amazing player and he's an amazing talent. But I watched a video of a compilation of how many times he done left his teammates hanging when it comes to fist bumps and shit. And it's like
he's not a good morale guy.
Bro, he don't fuck with niggas, bro. At all. So, and if his shit is truly just based off hooping and all he care about is putting the ball in the net, a nigga like Harden would truly irritate a nigga like that. So man, I don't know, bro. I don't know who gonna request a trade first, but I don't think this shit gonna work out, man.
The vibes are bad,
man. It's bad vibes only over there, bro.
It's crazy. Anybody else got comment on how the Clippers are doing?
Them niggas suck. what bro be saying? Blow it up, blow it up. That's
blow it up. Tank. Think we need a blow it up button. Drop a flex bomb on you. Yeah, nigga. I don't know, bro. Like I said, I don't know. I think it'll take a couple more games. I think they need to get some practices in together. I think James Harden needs to buy in to the Ty Lue system. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were looking good.
He is the system.
They were looking good. Bro, and I don't even, I don't fuck with plus minus, But I seen some of them James Harden on the court, off the court plus minuses. Well, that shit ugly.
Yeah, there was a report today that Kawhi was like visibly irritated the other day with the team. So like, and they're all free agents at the end of this year, so this can go real ugly for the Clippers
Blow it up.
with no draft picks till 2030.
God.
Oh my God. Yeah, these
Twen-
niggas gonna go back to the you know,
And they
the
get
infrastructure.
and a new arena next year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this can
Oh,
go.
yeah. Man, look, bro, let these niggas go, bro. Let these niggas go, bro. Let everybody
Nah.
go, bro.
No,
It's
Steve
so
Ballmer sold it. He sold his soul for this team. He got to ride out.
Bro, it's so crazy that like they made this play for Harden so early in the season. And like granted, you still got, 72 games, 70, you know what I'm saying, 70, however many games, you know what I'm saying, to like, really put it together. But yeah, man, it's just I don't know, like the trajectory seemed fine. Like they seemed to be competing. They were providing some really entertaining and really confident brand of basketball. And then Harden shows up, man, and I don't
Boo boo on himself.
exactly what happened. He shit in his drawers. Oh man. It's like that scene from Family Guy where one person start throwing up and then everybody start throwing up, nigga. That's a
That's
live,
exactly what it's like.
that's a live look inside the Clippers locker room.
Every break that Harden puts up sounds like a shotgun to the chest.
Not an enjoyable sound, man, hearing bricks ricochet off the rim in a National Basketball Association game.
Hey, yo, but look though, but okay, so like, let's get down to the psyche of it, right? Like, is he truly the problem? Does his brand has his brand of basketball expired? What like, because he's damn near in the same bag as Russell Westbrook at this point, and I would like to see it on paper. I think Russell might be outplaying him.
But we don't need two of them motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Like Russell Westbrook and his bullshit is cool. Like they able to kind of hoop within it, but two of them motherfuckers is a little too much, you know.
I mean, at least Russ
Too
plays
hard.
hard.
Yeah, Russell's actually good with them.
He
It's
plays
just-
Russ
hard.
plays defense. Russ plays defense. Like Russ pays attention. Like Harden is out here sleepwalking, bro. Like this nigga just got out the PJ. You know what I'm saying? Is tapped out on ones. You know what I'm saying? And is ready to play 48 minutes of basketball, bro. Only on one side of the ball. Like it's something got to shake, bro. And I'm chalking it up to beginning of the season, early season rust. You know what I'm saying? Like he back home. He done went through all this drama during the offseason. He's been called a cancer and everything but a child of God by everybody, you know what I'm saying, in the media. So we gonna give it some time to kind of congeal.
You can also look at the Sixers that been balling since he left, like
The
addition by
Sixers
subtraction.
going nuts.
Like it looks bad on all parts of Harden.
It does. It really does. And I'm gonna chalk it up to it just being week 3. So we'll give it some time. We'll let Harden get into like
Geo counter is at 12, nigga.
we will get into like mid-season shape. We're gonna see what Harden looks like in mid-season shape. And yeah, see if Tyronn Lue has an answer for that too, because I think also, like one of y'all mentioned, I think Gabe mentioned, like staggering Harden and Russ's minutes might be the best option. Somebody got to lead the second unit. You know what I'm saying? And maybe he's just that scoring burst off the bench that they need. But we'll see. The other team in LA, the better team in LA as of today. Nojo, how your Lakers doing this week?
So the Lakers, we went 1-2 this week. With a loss to the Heat and the Rockets, and then a win over the Suns. Their defense still sucks, man. And then a lot of times the supporting cast to LeBron and AD aren't really there. They look bad, but they look bad. They actually look better than they looked last year because we was on like an 11-game losing streak to start the year off. So, and they ended up going to the conference final. So, I don't know. They look bad, but when do they not look? When do they not start off pretty bad? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What else we got? Gabe, the Memphis Grizzlies. You gonna keep it short and sweet?
I like how you already started laughing because you know what I'm about to say. Look, here's the thing, man. The Grizzlies went 1-2 this week. However, I do have to say, to their credit, at the time of that we're recording today, they are now officially sitting at 2-8, still at the very bottom of the West. So Look, here's the thing.
Second win, like that, that's progress,
Yeah,
right?
Who they beat though?
congratulations. Ooh, I gotta look. I'll
No,
look
who they
and
beat today?
who did they beat today? I don't know. Let me see. Let me see. I'm gonna get back to that. How about I get back to that? Because that's not the important part. Because
They
two
beat the,
wins is
they beat
nothing
the
to.
fucking Clippers.
Of course.
They beat the fucking Clippers. You can't make this shit up, bro. You can't
Hey,
make
look, I
this
love
shit
it. I
up.
love it, man. Never mind. Shout out to the Memphis Grizzlies. Thank you for making my week. Nah, so here's the thing. Look, they're sitting at 2-8. They're at the very bottom of the West. There are really no bright spots on this team. The season 10 games in, it may already be a wash. And like I feel like that's super early to say because they are still gonna get John Morant back. But if they're sitting at 2-8 and they got 15 more games without John Morant, and you gotta think there's gonna be a couple games he's gotta ramp up to get in game shape. So let's just say, just for the sake of numbers, not that I'm a math major or anything, but they're 2-8, 10 games in. They're projected to be what, 4-16, 20 games in. So what, 5-18 or whatever, 5-20 maybe by the time he gets back. Like it's not good. Uh, they're also getting destroyed by injuries. They don't have Brandon Clark. They don't have Steven Adams for the entire year. They don't have Ja. So they're relying on the reboundless Triple J to run that offense. And Desmond Bain, a poor dude, he's literally carrying the team. Yeah, but real quick, they had a 127, 121 loss to the Jazz, and Triple J got ejected. And then Taylor Jenkins, the coach, had the audacity to blame it on the refs when they're sitting at 2-8. So that's all you got to say. That's all I got to say.
What about the other 8 games?
Yeah, it must have been the refs then
The
too.
other 7 games, yeah.
And he might be on the hot seat actually, because here's the thing: he's a good coach, but like something has to be said about that culture because Ja can't seem to get his act together. And I mean, people have been talking about this team being a young and up and coming team for like the last 4 years, and at some point you're no longer young, you're just actually underachieving.
Damn. That's a word, Pastor Gabe.
Yo, and much like Tyrone Lue over there, you know what I'm saying? That nigga, I think it's the coach problem. Because if you keep on forcing your game plan around, you know what I'm saying, your ideas instead of utilizing what you have at your disposal, that's a coach problem. And so I think much like, with the Grizzlies, man, Clippers might be a head coach front office problem.
I don't know, man. Ty Lue has gotten high marks, high praise, high remarks from his colleagues, from other players. I mean, I know the Clippers haven't done anything in this 2-3 year experiment. You know what I'm saying, outside a couple playoff appearances, but you hear a lot of great things about Tyronn Lue, and I mean, like I said, if nothing else, they got off to a better start of this season without James Harden. So I'm interested to see whether or not he can implement James or if James is willing to buy into the Ty Lue system. But yeah, I 100% agree with you, Gabe. Like, if the Grizz don't do something drastic, then they might just just bottom out this season. What are the Heat looking like?
So the Heat, to their credit, I think last week I was a little rough on the Heat. They were 3-0 this week with wins over the Lakers. Shout out Nojo, thank you for that. Of course, they beat the Grizzlies and they beat the Hawks. So they're sitting at 3-0. That puts them at 5-4 overall. Man, this team is scrappy. They're well coached. I mean, Eric Spoelstra is probably at least top 2 coach, top 3 coach in the NBA right now. So any team that's coached by him, no matter who they got playing for him, whether it's like nothing but minimum guys or whatever, old fat ass Kyle Lowry, like they're gonna go out there and compete. So the big thing, right? Like the biggest news with this team, unfortunately, is that Tyler Hero is out for at least 2 weeks, if not more. So he'll be reevaluated in 2 weeks. He's got an ankle sprain, and he was off to an incredible start. But with that being said, Bam's production has picked up. So in the game against the Hawks, he came out with 26 and 17, so 17 rebounds against the Hawks. You got the rookie Jaime Jaquez in that same game came out with 20. So as per Heat, per usual, like the Heat are having these people step up out of nowhere. So I can't imagine that they're going to keep playing this well, but they're at least going to tread water for the next couple of weeks. So they'll be about a 500 team. just like they were last year. So man, he's looking all right, man.
Right on, man. It's good to see them kind of, pick back up. I know, like, we've seen this formula before, right? Slow start, not really present, for the dog days of the regular season. And then all of a sudden, heat culture turns up. So it's good to see Bam, kind of establishing himself as a dominant force, not playing beneath what he's capable of. And, maybe it takes just, some offensive focus for him to kind of recalibrate and get back to his all-star ways, Up next, we got the Milwaukee Bucks. Rick, what the Bucks look like?
Oh, you know what I'm saying? Let's buck and go. Niggas on a 2-game winning streak. Giannis last game, nigga went 35, 10, and 7. Then the night before that, the nigga had 54. Damian out from a sore left calf from dunking on these bitch ass niggas. And the Wagner, and a side note, they played the Magic, bro. And them Wagner brothers might be the best brotherly same team duo in the league. It's pretty tight.
I don't know, man. They ain't no Giannis Thanasis.
Fuck out of here, nigga. But also the Bucks' next game is against the Bulls on Monday, so I really can't wait to see how that kind of matches out between those two.
We got a timetable on Dame's injury.
I want to say it's like a 2-week injury. It's just a sprained calf, so like it ain't like he pulled nothing.
Walk it off.
It ain't even a sprain. It's a sore. So yeah, I think
that's a sneak rest game.
Yeah, but man, that 35, 10, and 7 from Giannis, bro. I was like, okay, that's what I want to see from that nigga. And I just want to see him do that beside Dame, not besides Dame. You get what I'm saying?
I feel that.
That's a bar.
That is. I had to put that in the promo. Put that in the trailer. What's up, man? All right. Well, yeah, up next, we have my Minnesota Timberwolves, which is slowly starting to take the place of the New Orleans Pelicans as a team I'm emotionally invested in, because the Pelicans actually played the Minnesota Timberwolves this week, and I looked at the way Anthony Edwards plays, the same way I always look at Anthony Edwards plays, but especially up against a team that I proclaim as my favorite. I'm looking at Anthony Edwards, and Anthony Edwards looks like, from the opposing team standpoint, it looks like your mom telling you y'all got McDonald's at home, right? Like, I want McDonald's, right? But I got McDonald's at home dealing with fucking Zion Williamson and Brandon Ingram and the Pelicans. And Anthony Edwards is just a bona fide superstar, man. Over the last 4 games, he's averaged 30 points, right? He's, he plays his game, man. Like, analytics aside, like, he take them long twos, man. He get to the cup. He's a winner. He's a dog, bro. Like, he averaging like 6-7 rebounds per game, 6.5 assists per game. You know what I'm saying? A couple steals and almost a whole block. Like, Anthony Edwards is elite on both sides of the ball. He's, he's no longer breaking out. He's arrived. And yeah, I mean, one of the most impressive showings that he's had in this, in these last 4 games, averaging 30 points a game and fucking, 7 rebounds, is the fourth quarter stand he had against the Boston Celtics on Monday, where they won. They beat the Celtics 109-114, and it really came down to the final possession where he locked up Jason Tatum. You know what I'm saying? Like, he showed Jason Tatum, like, I'm on the same caliber as you are. I'm on the same trajectory as you are. Like, when we start talking about who the next leaders of this league is, we start talking about, like, who becomes top dog when we lose Bron, or, Steph enters the twilight of his career, or, somebody dethrones the Nuggets and finds a way to stop Joker. Like, the Timberwolves have beaten all the elite teams in the league so far. I mean, the ones that they faced, right? They beat the Nuggets. They beat the Celtics. I think they're playing the Warriors currently, so we'll talk about that next week. But the Timberwolves have what it takes, bro, and that's whether or not Karl Anthony Towns is contributing anything. I mean, he had 7 points and 10 rebounds in the win against the Boston Celtics, but you got 14 and 12 from Rudy Gobert. You got 20 points from Jaden McDaniels, You got 14 points off the bench from Nas Reed. And you got a fucking 40 burger from Anthony Edwards against the best team in the league, against the best offense in the league. So, I think, my feeling, right, of the Minnesota Timberwolves potentially being the kryptonite of some of the greater teams in this league, I think that reigns true, man. They went 3-0 this week. They advanced to 6-2 as of Saturday. And yeah, man, outside of my other 6-2 team, the Pacers, what the Timberwolves show differently is a defensive tenacity, right? A defensive competence, right? That allows them to not have to score 126 points per game, right? They're averaging 119 right now, which is, not at the top, but also not at the bottom of the league. And yeah, being led by a potentially generational talent, I think is, it goes without saying at this point that, in order to get to the Timberwolves, you got to get through Anthony Edwards. And he's going to drop 30 on your head. He's going to play defense. He's going to grab some rebounds. And he's going to show, flashes of greatness. And it's crazy to think that this is, year 4 or 5 for him. Something 3 years. Year 3. This is year 3 for Anthony Edwards. So, yeah, man, he's close to averaging 30 points per game, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. Like, at 6'4" and 22 years old, like this nigga is a problem. And I'm excited to see just how far the defensive discipline and the offensive harmony can take the Minnesota Timberwolves this year. All right, up next we have my bastard child, the New Orleans Pelicans, who are currently sitting at 4-5 after going 0-3 this week. Man, tough. They had some pretty unfavorable shakes of the dice. We lost to the Nuggets 116-134. Lost to the T-Wolves 101-122. I believe Zion was out that game for personal reasons. And then we lost again to the Rockets in a nail biter, which is probably the closest we've looked to winning this week, but it came down to, the very last, 2 minutes or so. And having a veteran point guard just made the difference between, us beating and us losing to the Houston Rockets. So shout out to Fred VanVleet for doing his thing. But yeah, man, the Pels will be short CJ McCollum indefinitely as he recovers from a collapsed lung. That makes New Orleans short yet another key piece that includes Trey Murphy III, Herb Jones, Jose Alvarado, and Najee Marshall. They also just randomly picked up Jeremiah Robinson Earl off the fucking street, right? Former Oklahoma City Thunder player. And, he had a decent game and, in his first game back into the league, basically with the Pelicans. There have been great showings from Jordan Hawkins and Matt Ryan, but Zion and BI have to learn to coexist together, man. The second half is whooping the Pelicans' ass, and they desperately are lacking in aggression and decisiveness, man. So, another sad fucking week for the New Orleans Pelicans, man. That makes us at 4 losses in a row, going 0-3 this week. We lost to the Hawks last week at the end of last week. So, yeah, currently a 4-game losing streak from the Pelicans, and just, make it 5 games because it's Sunday and we're not talking about it, but another loss in the books for the Pelicans. So not looking great for my New Orleans Pelicans, but I'm hoping health will change that. So we're just going to keep it pushing from there, man. New York Knicks, Nojo, how your Knicks looking this week? I heard we had a bounce back from Julius Randle.
No cap. My niggas, I don't want to say it. Yeah, my niggas, we went 2-0 this week with a win over the Clippers and the Spurs. Not really impressive, but it happened. Julius Randle is finally back playing like himself. He averaged 25 and 13 rebounds this week, and then we got RJ Barrett back. So shit is looking pretty cool, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. Them was some weak ass teams they beat, but a win is a win.
There you go. That's all you can ask for, man. New York Knicks, it's the same story every year. So hopefully this streak of Julius Randle's all-star level play, continues, don't fall off a cliff next week, and they can rack up some more wins. Teflon, you got the OKC Thunder. How they doing?
OKC went 2-1 this week. with 2 wins over the Hawks and Cavs and a loss to the Kings. Mention that later when I talk about the Kings. But team's rolling. What is it? Giddy still he's the only one struggling to adapt to Chet being in the paint. He's still getting assists. He's still playing D. But yeah, his offense is just not clicking. But Cason Wallace is getting good minutes, which is good to see. He's been playing 20 minutes a game the past week, just being a lockdown defender, facilitating, hit some shots. But yeah, that's been their week.
Right on. Up next, we also have the Orlando Magic. Teflon, that's yours as well. How's your other young, spry, youthful team doing?
Man. Oh,
They went 2-1 this week with a loss to the Mavs, Hawks, and they beat the Bucks. Like Ricky mentioned earlier, Wagner brothers balled their ass off. Moritz had 19 off the bench. Magic had 3 starters with 20 plus points. Anthony Black gave him good minutes. Didn't score much, but played D, still was positive. Isaac gave him a good 17 minutes off the bench. And Cole didn't shoot well, but was the best plus minus on the team off the bench for 14 minutes with plus 14. So he was facilitating, got a steal in there, got some rebounds. And it was a good win with against the Bucks. It was a blowout. It was starting to look like a blowout in the second quarter. And that was pretty much in there. It was, 25 points to 29 points in the first. And Orlando outscored them in the second. And they've been even the rest of the way. So it was a pretty comfortable win for them. Good to see them. Good to see Paulo Banchero continue getting his numbers.
Yeah, man, he's looking good.
Yeah, it's pretty much in the week. We'll wish if they had a shooter in their lineup. They're not the most efficient team. They don't get too many threes up. But hopefully they might move Markelle in the future for a good knockdown shooter to add to their lineup. And they'll probably be a scary team in the East.
It's hard to win without 3-point shooting, man. That's the day.
Yeah.
That's the day's game. You know what I
It's
mean?
the greatest defense they play, but three's always gonna outweigh too.
No, for sure. All right, no Joe. We got the still processing 76ers. How's the process looking this week?
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. I don't think they still processing. These niggas is hitting this hoe, man. We went 3-0 this week with a win over the Wizards and the Celtics and the Pistons. And yeah, man, Tyrese Maxey and Embiid is a top 2 duo in the league. I was saying top 5, but I think they top 2 behind Jokic and Murray. These are Tyrese Maxey is averaging 25 and Embiid is averaging 36. And Embiid actually had 48 against the Wizards. But it's the Wizards. But still, yeah, these niggas is nice, man. And then they're getting good play out of their supporting cast too. Tobias Harris and one of those games, Shake Milton was even hooping. So, it's they look really, really good. I think they might be the best team in the East right now.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy. Bro, did you hear what happened to Kelly Oubre?
You said what?
You hear what happened to Kelly Oubre?
He got hit by a car.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and
he got multiple broken ribs.
That's crazy. That's
wild. And that's not even like that's a big ass nigga. You can't really miss him. I don't see how. You know what I'm saying?
They said he got hit in the chest by the car. He's 6'7". How tall is that fucking car?
Right.
About fucking
that was
Ford. Goddamn Ram TRX or some shit.
Nigga, it's unfortunate too because he was having a solid season. He was coming off a 20-point per game season last year and didn't get picked up until the very last minute. Philly took a flyer on him and he's been a solid contributor, bro. So that really sucks.
Yeah, but I ain't gonna lie. I think we'll be all right though. We'll be all right.
Right on. All right, Gabe. Up next, we got your Phoenix Suns. How are the expected champion Phoenix Suns doing this week?
I don't know about expected champion or anything, man, but they went 2-1 this week, so they're down to, or they're back up to 4-5 overall. The good thing is Bradley Beal was back this week, and of course Devin Booker is now out, and so that's to be expected of the Suns at this point. The good thing, man, is KD is out here doing KD things, man. He is averaging 37 and 5. I mean, dude is like, I mean, I know we joke about Kawhi Leonard being an android, but like KD is also just a robot. Like you could literally pencil him in for 35 and 5 every night. Here's the other thing, though. I don't know how long they can continue to expect this from KD because he's literally played every game. He's playing over 35 minutes a game. And the mind-blowing thing about this team, again, without having a point guard, is Yusuf Nurkic is leading this team in assists with 5 assists a game.
That's solid.
That's not, yeah, but it's Yusuf Nurkic who's leading them in assists. Like, shout out to him. Yeah, he's their center, and so he's not Jokic, so it's not unheard of to play through your center.
Right.
But to their credit, they have been playing through him more often, so he's no longer like a zero on the court. But the thing is like when I was doing my notes for the pod, I kept thinking like, oh well, let's wait until they're healthy to get a full opinion on the Suns. But honestly, I think that is the opinion on the Suns. The fact that they probably will never have all three of those guys playing at the same time. They kind of are what they are. They're sitting at 4-5. So if I'm projecting out for the rest of the year, I wouldn't be surprised if this team is hovering just over 500 for the entire year, because all three of their main guys, you can pencil them in to miss at least 30 games a year. And so we'll see, man. The offense still looks good. The defense is a problem, but I mean, 4-5, it's nothing impressive. They went 2-1, but that means that they were 3-4 before, or 2-4 before this. So they got some ground to make up.
I think like that's kind of the expectation, especially with teams who are kind of like, a shoe-in for the postseason. I don't want to underestimate or disregard how competitive the West is, but when you have a KD and you have a Devin Booker, like typically it takes, 25, 30 games or so to get everybody on the court at the same time and like really be playing like competitive basketball. And I think when you look at, the top three, for one, top heavy teams get a lot of rest early in the year just because like you're going to need that talent down the stretch. But two, you look at their personalities. Kevin Durant is a basketball savant. In order for him to be in rhythm, in order for him to be playing at his best, he has to be playing basketball. That's just the way he lives his life, right? Like he has to be playing basketball. So it don't even concern me so much that he's putting in, 30, 35 minutes per game, because like this is what he does. Like he's a hooper, and the more games you can get out of Kevin Durant, the better he's going to be, down the stretch. Somebody like Booker, who's going to explode for 35, 40-point games at a time, like, it's going to be important for him to get some designated rest days, whether that's like, technically legal in the league or not, like he's going to need that designated rest time in order to be fresh, for the playoffs and be able to like, to have those scoring explosions throughout the regular season. And I think, Bradley Beal is like, coming out of an older system, hasn't been super healthy in the last few years and still has to become adjusted to what the Suns are trying to do and be a winning component. And so, let's get him in rhythm, while we have the time to take a L or are not playing as competitive basketball. Like, I just think that it would be foolish, and it would be, it would be a mistake to, kind of gauge what the Suns are capable of at the top at this high up into the season. You know what I mean?
I agree with what you're saying, and I'll keep it short. I agree with what you're saying. They need some time to mesh, or in your favorite term, congeal. But my point is I don't think that the three of them are going to be healthy long enough consecutively to have that time to gel. And I also think the West is way too competitive to bank on being able to get off to a slow start. Right. So we'll see. I think you have some points, and I agree with you to an extent. I'm not totally sure that they're going to have the luxury of getting off to a slow start, in addition to already having injury concerns. But we'll see what happens.
Right on, man. Up next, we have the Portland Trailblazers. Rick, how are the Trailblazers doing?
Went 2-2 this week. I'm not gonna lie. Free Keegan Murray, you know what I'm saying? They can't get a minute to play. Robert Williams injury, season-ending injury. That was their center. So yeah, man, they're getting their lumps, man. And so I think a really good thing to kind of gauge or treat as a benchmark is how teams deal with adversity and how they do deal with, you know what I'm saying, losing key components and their ability to win afterwards, which I think kind of references back to what you guys were talking about, whether or not all three of those guys will be able to be healthy. There's a certain depth that still does include, I guess, you know, when you start getting towards the end of the season and shit, you know, more than likely these guys will be healthy. And so, you know, with them being more post players or more, you know, postseason players, I don't know, man. I think it just take time, you know. But yeah, bro, the Blazers out here blazing.
Yeah, the expectations ain't super high
Oh,
for the Blazers. You know, it's a team full of young kids. You know, they were on the ass end of that Dame trade, so
gosh.
you know they essentially blew it up and like you know kind of just threw all caution to the wind. As far as like the rotation they were going with this year, I think there's something has to be said about Boston's medical personnel and Boston's medical staff and how that has shortened and compromised the careers of some solid players, man. I hope Time Lord, I hope Robert Williams III can, you know, recover from this season into surgery. But, you know, I've heard horror stories out of the medical offices of the Boston Celtics about, you know, how they insist on players playing hurt and ultimately, you know, kind of defining the end of their careers.
Right.
But we'll keep it pushing. Up next, we got the Sacramento Kings. Teflon, how are your Kings doing?
They went 2-1 this week. They had a blowout loss to the Rockets, overtime win against the Blazers, and a good win against Thunder. Mentioned last week how Kevin Huerter has been playing like absolute trash, lows across the board. Finally had a bounce back week, put 17 points against the Blazers, and then had a team leading 28 points against the Thunder to get that win. Sabonis got a good triple double that game. Yeah, they're looking good. Playing somewhat well this week without De'Aaron Fox. Hopefully they get him back soon. But this next following week against Cavs, Lakers, Spurs, and Mavs could have a different tune next pod. But hopefully they can at least at least one win out that week.
Very dope. We're wishing a speedy recovery for De'Aaron Fox. No, Joe, what about your Spurs?
Man, the Spurs, they're not really looking too good. They went 0-3 this week, losing to the Pacers, the Knicks, and the Timberwolves. Which yeah, I was gonna say they're pretty good teams, but they really not. Besides the Timberwolves, but yeah, we had a 41-point loss to the Pacers. They beat the shit out of us, man, and Vassell and Wemby, they had some pretty good game. They had a pretty good game against the Wolves, but other than that, nobody's really been playing good. I thought Wemby was gonna come through and he was gonna be like the savior of the team and come in. Right now, it's just times like this where I just lose hope. You know, hopefully it's just this week, but right now they look like the Spurs looked last year and the year before that. There's really no hope.
Hey man, it's still entertaining basketball. You got you know, the golden child, you know, the future of the league there. So, you know, and nobody said it was gonna be easy, but
yeah, nigga Slenderman is we
Yo,
count
why y'all give it up to that nigga so much? Y'all really think that nigga game is that peculiar?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
man, he's
just-
Rick,
7'4",
don't say
crossing
Bobo.
niggas up, shooting threes, dunking
Nah,
on niggas.
he just looked like he's just, you know, slender man out there, bro.
I'm doubling down. I'm doubling down on the hype. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, you know, you can continue to throw ball name out there, but Ball ain't doing what it take to get on the floor. Like, this nigga different.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, y'all got to show me. I'm gonna lie to you. I just found some backwards under my seat too.
YouTube that shit. Gabe, we got the Raptors. How the Raptors doing this week?
Yeah, man. Raptors had a little bit of a bounce back week there. They had a 2-1 week with wins over Teflon's Dallas, and also my Dallas, unfortunately. But anyway, wins over Dallas and San Antonio. They got the doors blown off them by my Celtics, 117-94. But they improved to 4-5 overall. Again, as I've been saying, man, I'm on this Scotty Barnes bandwagon, man. I'm pushing. He's averaging 20, 10, and 6. This is what trips me out. He leads the team in points, rebounds, steals, and blocks, and he's second in assists. So he damn near leads this entire team in all major statistical categories. I don't have much expectations for him. I'm happy that they're finally like buying totally into Scotty Barnes and letting him be the A, not like the 1A. It seems like Siakam and Anunoby have kind of found their footing, kind of like deferring to him and kind of letting him take over. So I'm happy for that. But man, Scotty Barnes, dude, I'm pretty sure is going to be all NBA Scotty this year. He's got to make one of the 3 all NBA teams. Because 20, 10, and 6 and leading your team in that many categories, I mean, that speaks for itself.
City boys. I love to see it, man. Scotty deserves that, man. He deserves his own team. He deserves to be able to show out and show what he's capable of. So shout out him. Utah Jazz. How are they performing this week, Gabe?
Well, they're not. Here's the thing. They were 1-2 this week. They beat the Grizzlies. So
of course.
Yeah, so they're sitting at 3-7, and I think it's so interesting because both these teams are my teams, and unfortunately, they're dragging down my record. But the Jazz's 3-7 feels very different than the Grizzlies 2-8. But the Jazz, they're again, they're going to be a scrappy team. They're well coached. I think the brightest spot is Markkanen. Markkanen is averaging 24 and 8 or 8.5, so 24 points, 8.5 rebounds. The problem is their next highest scorer is Jordan Clarkson with only 16 points a game. So they don't really have a number 2, and Lauri Markkanen is not really a number 1. So they're going to struggle to put up points, and they don't really have a point guard. I don't know if that's going to happen via the trade market or if they're going to go do something in free agency this year. But for this team, I think as long as they're showing improvement, as long as they are like establishing a culture and establishing a system, it's a win for them because expectations are pretty low. And the fact that they have a shitload of draft picks, they're in no hurry. Like it's Danny Ainge. He's their GM, and he's going to basically take the Boston blueprint, and he's going to take it slow and steady. So I don't expect much out of this team. So 1-2 for the week is about what I expected. 3-7 overall is on par. But they are showing growth, and they're showing a consistency, at least in the way that they play. And the only other thing is right now they're kind of splitting the center time between Kelly Olynyk and Walker Kessler. Mm-hmm. I think that they should just go full in on Walker Kessler at this point and let him play 30, 35 minutes a game because, he's the future. He's the guy that they drafted with the first-round pick last year. He's shown flashes and spots, and if he had the time, if he got the PT, he would be in the running for Defensive Player of the Year. So I think they got to buy in on him all the way. But other than that, man, the Jazz, they're doing Jazz things.
Yeah, man, he made some noise for DPOY last year too. They were really last year was his rookie year, right?
Yeah, correct. And there was a nice little push for him to be Rookie of the Year. Yeah. But I think it came on a little too late. So that's what I mean. I think they just got to go and Kelly Olynyk is a good player and he has some trade value if nothing else. But I think they got to just go all in for Walker Kessler and let him get those minutes, just like they bought in 100% with Lauri Markkanen. So we'll see what happens as the year goes on. But, Jazz are doing what they should be doing right now.
Hey, man, they won one battle. That's the City Edition uniform battle.
Yeah, those are hard. And the tournament courts are cold.
Now, if they could just change the fucking name, we'd be at peace. But Jazz is great in Utah, so I heard. Rick, last but not least, we got the Washington Wizards, first in pace, last in everything else. How the Wizards doing, man? How's the
Fucking terrible.
whole fucking Kyle Kuzma show?
Man, them niggas went 1-4 this week and got blew out by 18, then went and spanked the Hornets by 16, bro. I don't know what's wrong with these niggas, bro. They play like the fucking team Texas Dallas Mustangs. So, you know, I don't know what's up with them niggas, bro.
Yeah, man, they running, they getting points, but like, yeah, man, I mean, it takes a lot more than that. Like, you got to play some defense. I saw some really impressive Daniel Gafford highlights, and I've been big on Daniel Gafford for some years now. I wish the Pelicans picked him up, but yeah, outside of that, man, it's just not enough steadfastness on defense, man. I'm not sure, how much freedom Tyus Jones has with the amount of on-ball activity that Poole and Kyle Kuzma need. I don't know if he's able to play, make, and facilitate the way that would best benefit them. But yeah, man, I mean the Wizards are whizzing.
Yeah, man, they're having a pool party in the kiddie pool right now. So
Yeah, man. But they're getting sections in the arena, so table sections. So it's lit. It's lit in DC. All right, man. Well, that wraps up our 30-team assessment. We'll go ahead and jump into our key games this week, the ones that stood out to us. We're doing a little different this week as opposed to inserting those key games into that 30-team sort of rundown. We're going to separate these so, as to not break up the continuity of the 30-team rundown. And, yeah, we'll each give our games of the week 3 of the NBA season and kind of open the floor to go to war on that, man. I'll start it off with the Timberwolves versus the Celtics. We had that on Monday. The Timberwolves won 114-109, man. And a really, really impressive performance from Anthony Edwards. 38 points, 9 rebounds, really just took over in overtime, man. The game went to overtime, tied up at the end of regulation. So, yeah, man, it's just, the battle of the future Titans of the league. You know what I mean? Jason Tatum had an incredible game. What did his stat line look like? Jason Tatum had 32 points, 5 rebounds, 5 steals, shot 55% from the field. I think, like I said, man, the Timberwolves might fuck around and be some of the great teams kryptonite in this league just because they have an elite offensive talent. They're gaining rhythm and momentum with the Rudy Gobert trade. You're starting to see Mike Conley has not committed a turnover since game 1. I want to say that that's still the case.
yeah, his assist to turnover ratio is like 30-1. That shit is ridiculous.
But see what he's doing is providing that veteran guard play
Stability.
that they need. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of youth on that team. It's a high ceiling on that team, but they're still young and inexperienced. And so having somebody like Mike Conley be the facilitator, be the guy who can, kind of, dictate the tempo and keep guys, heads in the game. Like, I think it's super important to have, man.
He's still a dog. Mike Conley's still a dog.
Mike Conley's still a dog, man. But yeah, we might not see, like I said, like the word around the league is that, Karl Anthony Towns is being shopped. I think
he has to be.
Yeah, they can do amazing things with him, but I think they could also trim the fat a little bit and and still be great without him.
It'd be if they got rid of him, it'd be addition by subtraction, and it would ease some of the salary cap woes. Because I heard a stat the other day. I was just kind of fishing around, and since 2005, they've only paid. They're like one of the few teams who have barely paid into the luxury tax,
Right.
and they're about to hit that second apron. And next year they're gonna have I think between their top 6 or 7 guys, over $170 million committed. So they got to make a move. It may not happen now, but I think clearing the space for getting rid of Cat would allow even more space for Ant to do his thing. Jaden McDaniels would be able to be a bigger part of the offense, and Naz Reid would be able to step into more of a role there. So I agree with you on that.
No, for sure, man. And I think you kind of have to you kind of have to push your chips into Rudy Gobert. As much as you gave for him, as much as you gave up for him,
Right.
you got to kind of push your chips in, and you can't always have both. Like you said, the second apron is going to prevent you from having both, but also just just like the time with your hands on the ball, right? Like the time of possession, right? Like there's not enough real estate for all of those guys to get as optimal usage as possible as it's currently constructed. So I could definitely see them getting some value from Cat. I think other teams are going to pay top dollar for him, and yeah, that could definitely be used to kind of help their depth or to kind of shore up for the future. If there's some prospects coming in the pipeline, like they could probably benefit from scooping up some draft picks that they had to let go of in order to get Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, man. I'll quickly touch on the Celtics in this game, man. It was super competitive. I was actually watching this game kind of from wire to wire, just because Celtics. So I'm gonna watch as many games as I can. But like you mentioned, Tatum had 32, Brown had 26, and this was like the game where he kind of bounced back from his slow start. So it was really encouraging to see. But and I'll talk about this again when I talk about the Philly game next with the Celtics. Their late game offense is it's just like your turn, my turn, your turn, my turn. It's Tatum and Brown and Tatum and Brown. And it's like what happens is they get in that last 2-3 minutes of the game and it's tight, and they just try to rely on their talent. And then especially a team like Minnesota who has hella defenders, they get to just kind of key in. So I think the biggest area of growth at this point, like just looking at this team, especially this matchup, is that they have got to figure out what to do with their late game offense. As far as like Ant going for 38, like that's just one of them games where like he's the best player on the court, and you just kind of have to tip your hat and be like, yo, dude is playing out of his mind. So they were going to win that game no matter what, as long as Ant was playing that way. But what's disappointing to see is that the Celtics still have not figured out how to maximize their late game execution. And
You think that's a Joe Mazzulla problem? Is that a leadership on court problem? Like what's happening in those last 2 minutes that kind of breaks down the rhythm they've spent 3/4 building up, 3.5 quarters building up?
Yeah, I think it's just a matter. It's also honestly, I can't really totally chalk it up to coaching. I think it's more of just like culture for the way that the game is played, period, because there's a lot of teams that play that way. They essentially, the last few minutes, they dump it down to the star, and the star is going to take them home. They're either going to win or die by that star, because like Philly does the same thing with Joel Embiid. Obviously, the Mavericks do it with Luka. And so I don't know. I think it's coaching, but it's also just kind of like the nature of the way the NBA game is played. In the last 2 minutes, it's almost like star for star, like your best versus my best, and let's see what happens. So until they can start continuing to do that ball movement throughout the game like they did the other 3.5 quarters, their late game offense is going to be tough, and they'll get bailed out because Tatum is amazing and Brown is great, and Porzingis is a timely shooter this year. But we'll see. But shout out to the Wolves, man. They look nice, and fucking Ant, 38 points is crazy, and he took over. Like it was crazy. As soon as they hit OT, he was like, "It's my ball."
Yeah. No, man, Ant's a problem, man.
One-on-one. That nigga plays amazing one-on-one basketball. and it's almost like we be wanting James Harden to do what Ant be doing.
Bro, I'm watching Ant play the Pelicans, and I'm like, damn, I wish Brandon Ingram played that hard. I wish he ran that fast.
I think it come down to Anthony Edwards from the A, bro. And Atlanta niggas built different, bro. Like, they can not have nothing for the shoulder and still think they can beat the shit out you, bro. So it's just like, it's that dog in them, bro. Like, and I had to see it, and I didn't see it at first. I saw it on paper, but I just wasn't convinced. But after I seen him really play, I realized, like, that's the intangible edge that he has on who's ever in front of him. Like, he either think he can whoop you or he don't think you can whoop better than him. And that just works wonders on one-on-one basketball,
Straight up. Yeah, man, I saw a lot of stagnation from the Celtics that last couple minutes or so. There were no drives to kickouts. There was no cutting. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't really a whole lot of motion on offense. It was just like, okay, which one is it? Is it Tatum? Is it Jason? Is it Jalen? You know what I'm saying? But speaking of Celtics, Gabe, you had a key game involving the Celtics this week. How did that Celtics 76ers game play out?
Yeah, so sparing the sake of having to repeat myself too much, it was a 106-103 loss to the Sixers. This game was also super interesting because, in my opinion, this is probably an Eastern Conference Finals preview. Bucks are going to be good, but I don't think that they're going to be able to mesh in time. But to do that, so I think the Sixers and Celtics, which is my personal favorite rivalry right now. But in this game, man, it was a struggle for the Celtics. I mean, Tatum only had 16 points on 12 shots. Brown only had 11 points on 13 shots. Porzingis had 29, so he played well. But I feel like this game for the Celtics was like the culmination of like all the skeletons came out the closet. Like all the ugly things about the Celtics came out all at the same time. Tatum struggled, Brown struggled. They only had 16 bench points, and that was only between two players. Like I think Hauser had 13 and Horford hit 1 3, and that made up their 16 points. So like all the talk about their bench and not being deep enough, that reared its ugly head. Like having to rely on Tatum and Brown offensively, that reared its head. So, and again, their late game offense kind of turned into the same thing, this your turn, my turn thing, and they were pretty much down from almost wire to wire. They started to make a comeback, but then MVP Joel Embiid did his thing. They didn't really have an answer for him. They only shot 39% from the field, 31 from three. Philly shot 44% from the field and 26% from three. Joel had 27. Tyrese Maxey had 25. They had a lot more like even scoring throughout the game. So it's interesting because with all the offseason moves that Boston made, they still didn't really address Embiid and how to get through him, and much less Joker. So we'll see, man. I think they're probably gonna have to make a move for another big body because uh, between Porzingis, Horford, and Cornette, like they don't have anybody who can bang down low with Joel. So until they get a low post presence, this is probably what it's gonna look like. These knockdown, drag out, kind of low scoring hundreds games. But yeah, man, it's a loss, but we'll bounce back.
No, Joe, how you feel the 76ers performed in that Celtics game?
They was just open. That's what they do. They look the same. They be looking the same. They doing their thing.
Right on, man. Up next, we have Teflon, Magic versus Bucks. That's Teflon and Rick head to head. Was it how'd that game turn out, and what'd you see? What'd you like, Tef, Rick?
It was a win for the Magic, winning 112-97. Franz Wagner went off. Giannis had his usual 30-point double-double.
7 assists.
7 assists. It was good team ball by the Magic. Oddly enough, Markelle was a late scratch. He's healthy now. He played earlier in the week, but still don't know what's up with him. He's not listed on the injury report, just DNP. But yeah, Magic playing good team basketball. They're fourth in defensive rating, so their defense is smothering. Bottom of the league in 3-point shots. They pretty much played the game where let Giannis get his, and then just clamp up everybody else. Bucks had campaign starting, so that was easy work for Jalen Suggs, who had a 20-piece. Finally had him a good offensive game this season. Yeah, it's just good ball.
Rick, how did you feel about that game?
Man, I played by the Magic, man. Magic just showed up, and without Dame giving you 37, you know what I'm saying? They came up short. You feel me? They caught the Bucks on their heels, and it just felt like the Bucks without Dame. It felt like Bucks last year. You know what I'm saying? So, good game though, for sure. Goddamn Wagner brothers.
The Bucks are struggling. The Bucks, they're definitely they're not coming together as smoothly as like we all probably envisioned when we just heard the name recognition of Giannis and Dame. You got to give it time. They'll take time.
what legend they gonna bring in to teach these niggas how to run an effective pick and roll?
I
Who do they?
mean,
Because like
yeah,
we talk about player pickups and shit, but how does coach and personnel pickups go? Like, can a team pick up, a random, coach or assistant or vet to come in and do that just throughout the season? Can that be something that they do?
They could
they
definitely make
could.
a
I mean,
hire.
they
They
got a
could
rookie
definitely make a
coach,
hire,
man.
yeah.
They
But
got a rookie coach.
it's a new coach, right? A new coach, a completely new element in Dame, and probably more than likely, a whole new system. You know what I'm saying? Like it's been what
Right.
2 years or so since 2 or 3 years since the Bucks won, and so the league has changed. The dynamic of that specific team has changed, and yeah, now you got a brand new rookie head coach, coming in with
Who's
his
probably
system.
who probably just letting them niggas hoop just to see how they do. You know what I'm saying? Like, and not really forcing the regime because I don't see any play calling from them niggas. I just see them niggas hooping. You know what I'm saying? I don't see any particular play calling or like what I'm saying. I don't. That's not standing out to me.
Right.
So maybe they're gathering data. Maybe they're seeing what they need to do, and I don't put that beyond any what I'm saying, coaching group just
Right.
to try certain shit out. So.
Yeah, especially in the analytics era, right? Like you want to have a
Mhm.
decent sample size of what works and what doesn't work before you start trying to implement stuff that you'll have to change in a couple weeks.
Yeah, and I think that's the pitfall for a lot of new coaches, like because they have this idea of revolutionizing basketball that they forget, the fundamentals, man, and how lethal they can be. Hell, I was just running, pick and roll in a 2-on-2 game at Hammond Park and was unstoppable. Nigga, I was like,
It's 6'8",
damn,
by the
dude.
way.
Yeah, I am 6'8", and I do think I'm KD when I'm hooping. But you know what I'm saying? Yeah, bro. That it's foolproof, man. And and either one of those guys could score. So I don't see how that's not, you know, their number one goal. Gabe, you were gonna say something. I apologize.
Oh no, you're good. I mean, you guys already hit it on the head, man. It's going to take some time for them to kind of mesh. They're kind of just playing for science right now. They're figuring out what works. Eventually, they'll fall on the fact that they've got two of the top 10 players in the NBA, top 15 players in the NBA, and they're just going to have to build their offense around that pick and roll, like you said. But yeah, y'all pretty much got it, man. The Bucks will be all right.
Yeah,
They're
even
gonna
if
need
it
more.
take a year. Go ahead.
They're gonna need more out of Malik. He's supposed to be their defensive stopper, but he's a turnstile out there.
Who's that?
Malik Beasley.
Oh man, did you see that? Did you see that nigga glitch against Tyrese
Turnstile,
Yeah.
Halliburton and the fake pick?
turnstile is fucking nuts.
This nigga here was standing in cement. Nigga stood in wet cement.
Hey, yo, what?
The boy glitched out, man. But see, Tyrese Halliburton called a fake pick. You know what I'm saying? So I'm guessing he was just, anticipating the contact and just got fucking burnt. Just got burnt fucking toast, bro. But yeah, I would even say it might take a year to get the Bucks back into championship contention, just because like once you make a commitment, it is a win now league for a lot of coaches. A bad season can determine where you wind up the next year. But if you're committing to a future with Dame, if you're committing to a future with Giannis, and you giving them a brand new head of the snake, brains of the operation to try and work out the kinks and formulate what works best for them, then I think like they've got a 2 to 3 season window to like really get back in conference finals talk. You know what I mean?
For sure. They got Dame for 4 years, bro, and I think that's more than enough time to figure it out, man.
Yeah. And again, week 3, right?
Right.
No, Joe, we got the Lakers versus the Rockets, man. 2 of your own teams, so you get no points for this. But how'd that game play out, man?
It really was just an ass whooping from start to finish. There was no AD, so we was missing a lot of rim protection and a lot of, and it just a lot of just.
Hey, yo.
Hey, all right, you right. But now, yeah, these niggas had 99 points in the third quarter. It was like Lakers defense is ass already, and then so without AD, it just made it even worse. For the Rockets, it was a team effort. Jalen Green had 28, St. John had 19, and Tate had 14. And Brooks was talking. He said he was gonna lock LeBron ass up. Yeah, LeBron had 18. So I don't know if he technically locked him up, or it looked like most of the 18 was on Dylan Brooks though. So I don't know.
You know, Dylan Brooks' best skill, his best contribution is just getting in the fucking way.
Yeah,
no.
but no, honestly, his confidence is like I admire it. The nigga like really.
You gotta respect it. He really tapped
Yeah.
in the villain.
Bro, dude is shooting like 60% from three. So at this point, he can say whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah, and it's looking like Memphis was the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're 2-8, bro. They're 2-8.
Because I bet they love to have Dylan Brooks back right now.
Man, like
Yeah,
a
they need that
motherfucker,
too.
because ain't nobody playing defense in Memphis.
Yo, did
But
y'all
also
see the
when-
dunk? Did y'all see the dunk that Jalen Green had? It literally looked like the logo that they had at
Oh
center court.
yeah, he peeled
That
Austin
shit was
Reeves.
hot.
He peeled Austin Reeves. Actually took it on a fast break, dunk like the logo.
And pull the dunkstronaut. That's what they call it, the dunkstronaut.
Yeah, man, he's nice, man. Jalen Green is nice. That the Rockets, they're a fun team to watch because they got a lot of young, interesting pieces, and they got a nice little sprinkle of some veterans in there.
Yeah.
I think you mentioned it before. They're probably not going to win a lot of games, but they're going to be fun to watch. And you know, personally speaking, anytime the Lakers can lose, I'm happy with that. So,
Hey man,
Also,
Fuck with the Lakers, man.
that's a locker room with Jeff Green.
bro,
You a
I'm
Celtics
a
fan,
Celtics.
nigga.
I'm a
Of course
Celtics fan, bro.
Yeah, you're right. I feel that.
That's a locker room with Jeff Green. That's a
My bro-
locker
my-
room with
my
Fred
brother-
Van Vliet. That's a locker room with Ime Udoka. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's about time that the talent meets the discipline. The talent meets the execution. They've had hella talent for 3, 4, 5 years now at this point, and now they got a real head coach. They got a veteran point guard. They got some gray hairs in the locker room. You know what I'm saying? Like niggas ain't Dougie in no more. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's just time to hoop. You feel me? And like I think you kind of seeing that switch turn on for them, even if it don't amount to like any kind of postseason success. Like Email
They're playing
is
the right way.
a great coach.
They're playing.
I
the
like
right
to see
way.
Van Vliet
Yeah.
playing the point with him
You
too.
talking
He was a good fit. He was a really good
You
fit.
talking about the nigga that fumbled Neil Long?
The nigga that fumbled Neil
Ooh.
is still a great basketball coach.
You know, I ain't gonna lie to you. That nigga decision making skills is still is suspect, man. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Hey, y'all see
Darius
I
came
know
back
it's
on
off top, but y'all see Jeezy?
Oh my God, campaigning.
I wouldn't have did you like that.
Real niggas don't cheat. Oh.
No, is it Dirty Mackin if they not together no more?
Man, that's still dirty macking, bro.
It's still dirty
Yeah, 'cause
macking.
you got another
It's
nigga
like
come out.
you're not only are you referencing him, you're indirectly referencing him, and then you're putting yourself on a pedestal against all other men that this woman has probably dealt with. So it's like you're dirty macking not only the last nigga, but every nigga that came before him too. So
Right. Because according to Jeezy, real niggas don't cheat, and like that sets a standard that like that's just a certain standard for him. She did call this nigga her brother in the tweet about the interview, so maybe he played himself into a box. I don't know.
No, but brother can also be a smokescreen.
Yeah, it is definitely a defense tactic. That's just my brother.
Yeah.
All right, Rick.
Cut.
Last key game, Rick. We got the Clippers versus the Nets, man. How did your Clippers do?
Y'all ready for this, bro?
Talk about.
I can't wait.
All right, look, right. All right, you know me, man. You know how I give it up, man. It's real niggas, you know what I'm saying? It's real nigga shit going on. I thought this game was like super interesting. Mostly because I don't know, it was just nigga. Paul George went 2 for 10 from 3. Nigga, as a team, the niggas went 22%, 8 for 36 from 3. Like nobody tell these niggas to stop shooting. And then to add insult to injury, nigga, that bench outscored the Clippers bench by like 30 points. And so like, that bench, Brooklyn bench almost gave them 50, and they only scored 100. So with this ragtag group of basically the fucking Suicide Squad that is the Brooklyn Nets, they were able to,
Crazy.
edge the fucking Clippers, man, who have Westbrook, Harden, Kawhi Leonard, and Paul George.
Say, man,
Yeah.
Ben Simmons was out. Nick Claxton is still out. Cam Thomas went down in the third quarter, but before he went down, nigga, he dropped 14 points. Like the Nets have a lot of depth, man. They have a lot of depth, and it's being taken advantage of now early in the season. And you're just able to see kind of like, what, like you said, what 7, 8, 9 spots down the depth chart really looks like, man. And they could pull off a win against, the Clippers, man. What I found out about the Nets, man, is if they can get out and they can run, they can score with the best of them. You know what I'm saying? Like Cam Thomas is going to take it to the cup. Dorian Finney-Smith is a great 3-and-D player. Dennis Smith Jr. has had opportunities to, look like his older self or his younger self rather. And yeah, man, any given night.
And Lonnie fucking Walker the
Lonnie,
fourth will come in and give you 21.
Right quick.
Bro, I'm pissed that the Lakers got rid of him. I don't know why they got rid of him.
They didn't play him a lot, right? Like he only got in like bullshit ass garbage minutes. And like, he's a shooter, he's a threat, he can get hot. But he stayed at the end of the bench, bro. He stayed with a DNP with the Lakers, man. And the minute he's out of there, he's having, like career games with the Nets, bro.
I feel that. But when they played him, he was going crazy. That's what I don't understand.
Yeah.
16 from the field.
I appreciate you two making this game about the Nets and how well the Nets are. And I agree with you. They're a fun team to watch. They're well coached. They are a deep team. But the real story here is why the fuck can't the Clippers get it together? And it makes me so happy. I'm literally sitting here in front of my computer smiling right now because I fucking hate James Harden.
But ain't
he might be an
enemy, your friend. Like if you anti-Lakers, like why can't you root for the Clippers? Like what's the vendetta is simply
because they have James Harden and they have Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard played for the Spurs. All right. James Harden played for the Rockets. I'm a Mavericks fan in addition to being a Celtics fan. Like it runs deep. And so fuck the Clippers.
This shit, nigga.
Fuck the Clippers.
Nah, man, but here's the thing, like we know now by, if you listened earlier in the pod, like they're struggling right now. And so like they just have zero chemistry. And I know that we talk about Ty Lue being a great coach, and he is a great coach. But at some point, he's going to have to start making the tough decisions because this whole like, oh, you can't move Russ to the bench because then he's going to be unhappy. And then if you lose Russ mentally, then you got to get rid of him. Like, I'm so fucking what? Oh, well, go play on the bench.
Bruh.
I love Russ. Russ is one of my favorite players. But like, yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
But no. I'd bring PJ Tucker in, right?
Yeah, let him play center.
Come off the bench and bring Paul George down to the 2. Let James Harden play the point. Kawhi run the 3. You know what I'm saying? Like,
bro, I hate
that. Like that.
I hate that. Like that's such a potential morale vacuum by sending somebody to the second unit,
to
bro.
The bench.
Because I hate the connotation that surrounds the bench now, bro. Like it's not the bench of the past, bro. Like there are 12 to 15 niggas who can really ball, and only 5 get to play at off. You feel me? Like
there's nothing wrong with being on the bench.
If you're leading the second unit, that means you're maintaining the lead while the starters, you know what I'm saying, is like getting rest, bro. Like you getting critical minutes. You getting 8 minutes a quarter, bro, to maintain or to add a scoring burst or to lock in. Like leading the second unit shouldn't be as stigmatized as riding the pine, nigga. And I wish a lot of these guys, especially the veteran guys, sort of accepted that role gracefully. Because, like, I mean, look at Chris Paul.
I think it's terminology, bro.
Chris Paul's doing great.
Yeah.
You're not riding, you're not the 6 man. You are leading the second unit, and that second unit is just as important as the first. You can't crumble when all the starters gone. You got to maintain a spark.
They got some nice niggas in that second unit too.
Oh, yeah, their second unit is stacked.
I be watching them niggas in Rico Hines, bro. Them niggas look crazy.
Terrence Mann is a hooper.
Yeah,
he's a hooper.
He should be starting. He should be in the starting lineup. Yeah, man. I like.
But imagine how powerful they would be. You know what I'm saying? With Westbrook leading that, and Westbrook
Westbrook,
wanting the ball.
Westbrook,
But
Bones
if
Highland, Terrence Mann, Norman Powell. You know what I'm saying? Like
they've got players,
that's a solid backing five, nigga. That's a solid second unit, bro.
yeah.
But Norman Powell's a bucket.
Yeah,
he
bro.
is. If Russell Westbrook embraced playing the sixth man, like fully embraced, he could be sixth man of the year. Like Russ could off the bench easy in his sleep could average 16, 10, and 16, 8, and 8. Like he could do that off the
Do
bench.
you think Harden is a better fit though? And starting is Harden is a better fit starting than Russell Westbrook?
No, I think like fit. Well, so
Harden isn't a fit at all right now, though.
Yeah,
I think.
But look, Harden
he's
doesn't
not a
give
fit
you
at all.
energy though. And Westbrook gives you energy. Well, he gives you tenacity. He gives you aggression. And all I'm saying is when we're talking about matchups, Harden, as your second, starting point guard, he's not percent of the league.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust Harden off the bench. I don't think he would have.
Not gonna give you
He'll gain 30 pounds in a week.
Up by then.
He'll gain 30 pounds in a week. You put him on the bench.
He's a slow burner. He's a slow burner, bro. You gotta come off the bench.
But if the first unit is whooping your ass, them niggas go take a rest break, go take a mid-quarter break, and then here come Russ nigga running 1,000 miles per hour to whoop some more ass. Like nigga, like you don't even have the time to catch up. You don't even have the time to catch your breath. Like that's the offense they ought to be running. That's the formula, the lineups they ought to be running, man. If Russ could lead that second unit, then they wouldn't lack firepower at any point in the game for the most part. You feel me?
Especially because their bench is so deep. Russ could spray the ball around and everybody could get touches. They could have 3 or 4 dudes off the bench averaging 8 to 10 points a game if they move Russ to the bench and he really embraced it. But they got this like ego trip going on in LA. And so they want to put their 4 best, their top 5 players on the court, and they have no chemistry because it's just station to station basketball. It's throw it to PG, throw it to Kawhi, throw it to James Harden, and nobody wants to shoot a damn 3. Nobody wants to shoot a spot up 3.
Hey man, I feel like we just fixed the Clippers. Like I think we could just kind of wipe our hands.
Oh God, bro!
I mean, they need to put us on the staff, on the coaching staff.
Crazy thing is, being a 6th man nowadays, you're getting starter minutes.
Bro, you're
playing 30 minutes a game.
20, 30 minutes a game.
You're getting 25 to 30 minutes a game. If you look, these other niggas is getting 23 and not doing nothing with them. Imagine coming off the bench, nigga, keeping your swag, barely sweating, nigga, winning the game. You know what I'm saying? And still getting 25 to 30 minutes. Man, hell no.
This is why,
sign me up.
And this is why we love Cam Thomas. Because Cam Thomas comes off the bench and fucking is a microwave.
Cam Thomas is their number 1 scorer right now. You feel me?
He's averaging something stupid like 28 a game. I mean, that won't hold up. But he's like Cam Thomas. He's this generation's like Jamal Crawford, Lou Williams type. Like he embraces it, and I love to see it because he comes in there and he's buckets.
And you know why it works over there in Brooklyn? The rest of the team has bought into him as well, coming off that bench to score. Like when he's in the game, Mikal will like pump fake and then kick it back out to Cam to take the shot. Like Mikal's turning down shots. Yeah.
You know what else? Steve Nash kept fucking Cam Thomas in a fucking cellar. He kept that man surrounded by pine, nigga. He kept that nigga surrounded by the bench. Like he was not free in Steve Nash's system at all. And even when Jacque Vaughn took over, like it still took some time to reintegrate him back into the rotation because he was getting DMPs, for the last year or two. So like it's really good to see not only are you ready when your moment come, Tyrese Maxey, right? But you've also, you've played in all 3 areas of a professional basketball team. You've played at the end of the pine. You've played as a 6th man. You've played as a primary scoring option. And like now you got the confidence to come in and do exactly what it takes to win or at the very least get yours. So I'm not mad at that at all, man. And I think we really need to, as basketball enthusiasts and a basketball culture, I don't even like saying going to the bench at this point because like you've seen in the last 8 minutes of a half or the last 6 minutes of a quarter, just how much, the depth chart can change the trajectory of a game. You know what I'm saying? And it really depends on matchups, bro. And I'm saying, like, you know, if Kawhi, if Paul George, if James Harden, if Zubac, whoever else you got out there, if they doing their job, then they can take a spell and feel confident in the second unit coming in and maintaining that intensity, maintaining the fucking mission statement. You feel me?
Yeah, man, that's well said.
Uh,
I agree, 100%.
uh,
All right,
Oh,
check
and I
this
just
out, man.
want
So
side
hey,
note.
go ahead.
Cam Thomas also hit Damian Lillard with a logo three as the fucking shot clock expired. So, you know, I think he got here with the beam, bro. I think he's trying to be a dragon
Cam is
slayer.
not afraid to shoot. No
Bro,
matter how
he
far
is
back
a
he is.
fucking pit bull, bro. That nigga swole as fuck. He little. He he jumps full extension on every jump shot, nigga. Like every jump shot, nigga, is like it's like he going up to dunk it. Like he really go up with like, you know what I'm saying, like dunk level intensity on a fucking floater, nigga. Like the niggas built different, bro. The niggas built different.
He actively
Hey,
looks for the
what
ball.
do
Go ahead.
I was gonna say? What do Ben Simmons be doing during these games?
Facilitate
Down and
a big guard so he can play defense on smaller guards. He can drive to the cup and fake like he gonna shoot it and dish it back out. You know what I'm saying? Like he making really good basketball decisions, but he's definitely not like the 20-point, 25-point scorer people thought he was gonna be.
Mm.
He's playing his role, man, and I'm glad. All jokes aside, I'm glad to see that he's carved out a nice role and he's playing his game again. And shit, 8 points, 8 or 9 rebounds, 5 or 6 assists, like that's great. And he's playing his game.
Yeah, straight up.
I hate Ben Simmons' game because he run like his feet hurt. You know what I'm saying? And
And coming from a nigga
wanna
who
know
feet
his-
hurt, like that's that's valid.
Well, he has back problems.
Well,
So
look.
you gonna run a little stiff.
I guess, but like the nigga play like he play like he's still on the travel ball team, bro. And I just want him to understand that he's in the NBA now, and like this is it. Like at any given moment he can ball. And I don't know who took his green light away. I don't know I don't know if it was just social media. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what it was, bro. But I just want that nigga to hoop, bro.
It was that
Yeah.
pump fake against Atlanta.
That pump fake against Atlanta, against fucking Trey
Trae Young.
nigga. Like, why are you passing away from Trae Young defense, bro? Like, hey, he don't play defense. He don't play defense. He barely showing a body, nigga. And you like got a whole foot on this nigga, man. Put that bitch up. But that's the confidence thing. And I feel like we'll have some breakout games from Ben Simmons this year. I don't think he'll ever be like, in contention for the scoring title. I don't think he'll ever be the superstar they imagine him being, but I could definitely see a couple 30 burgers down the line. I could definitely see him finding his rhythm and just continuing to be a fantasy team all-star, bro. You know what I'm saying? 11 points, 10 rebounds, 7-8 assists, you know what I'm saying? And solid playmaking. All right, so check this out. For this week, we've reset the war counter. All right. We will now be defining our War in the Paint wins with our key games. And so with that being said, and basically hitting the reset button and using this new format as the formula for it, I currently stand at 2-0 with the Timberwolves and the Nets win this week. Teflon stands at 1-0 with the Magic beating the Bucks this week. Nojo stands at 1-0 with the 76ers beating the Celtics in Gabe's matchup this week. And both
and we play again. And we're gonna do it again.
and both Rick and Gabe in the week 0-2. So next time, choose your matchups wisely.
I see why you
Like,
changed.
what?
I see why you changed this.
Well, it
I
was
can't wait to pick. Nigga, I'm gonna be undefeated if that's what it is. I'm just
hey man, choose
every
your,
game to highlight when my team won.
choose your games wisely, gentlemen. You know what I'm saying? It's a war out here. You know what I'm saying? You gotta look out for self. But that concludes week 3 episode of War in the Paint, man. I really want to thank everybody who tuned in and tapped in with us for this 3rd consecutive episode, man. It almost didn't happen, but all parts came together in the end, and another great week of basketball is in the books. Remember to follow War on the Paint on all forms of social media. We got Twitter, we got Instagram, We on YouTube now. If you go to Already DTX on YouTube, you can listen to the episodes there. We're across all streaming platforms thanks to RSS.com. So if you have any trouble with the links you were sent in the past, just hit us up and we can correct that wrong for you. And yeah, man, this is War in the Paint. I'm Rodney Blue, and on behalf of all of my co-hosts, Gabe, Teflon, Nojo, and Rick, hey man, enjoy great basketball. Continue to watch and learn the game. And we'll see y'all next week with another round of 30 teams and however many fucking games.
Peace.
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 Already Radio.